comes Tony, walking in the room, mic in hand, something's about to boom. Tell me what you gotta say. Tell me, make it count today. Big Tony speaks, and everybody listens. Big Tony speaks, his voice just keeps on lifting. When Tony talks, you know you gotta hear him. Big Tony speaks. Sit right down, let me hear your voice. Share your thoughts, Tony gives you choice. Tell me what you gotta say. Tell me, make it count today. You always speak, Big Tony speaks, and everybody listens. Big Tony speaks, his voice just keeps on lifting. When Tony talks, you know you gotta hear him. Big Tony speaks. Big Tony speaks. He's got something to say every single day. He's got something to say. Come on out and play. Big Tony speaks, and everybody listens. Big Tony speaks, his voice just keeps on lifting. When Tony talks, you know you gotta hear him. Big Tony speaks. Big Tony speaks. Big Tony. Big Tony speaks.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Before we get started, go ahead and announce there is a verdict in the Carmelo Anthony trial. He has been found guilty of intentional murder, the top highest charge that was put to the jury. He has been found guilty. The jury is now deliberating on his sentencing. We expect probably a sentence probably tomorrow. They were saying that they would probably have a sentence for, at about 6 today. Well, 6 came and went, and no sentence. So probably tomorrow. And he is, the experts are saying that the jury's probably going to, at minimum, they're going to start with 25 years and go up from there. The minimum that they will hand out is 25 years, what the experts are saying. And you know how experts are, So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the show. So, welcome back to Big Tony Speaks, the only podcast tracking human civilization's rapid descent into absolute brain rot. Today is Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. Look around you. Internet culture has officially liquefied our collective gray matter. We live in a world where people don't experience reality anymore. They just algorithmically farm it for validation. We've traded literal human connection for 15 seconds of dopamine delivered by an app that tracks your eye movement while you watch a teenager dance in front of a house they can't afford. Everyone is a brand, everything is content, and common sense has been thoroughly replaced by whatever desperate high-risk stunt gets a middle schooler in Ohio to smash that like button. We are a species that conquered the atom, built the internet, and then used it to film ourselves choking on fast food for internet clout. I'm your host, Big Tony, and if you came here looking for uplifting, filtered news, you're in the right place. But we are diving straight into the trash fire today. So let's do it. Okay, well let's start on Interstate 75 in Tennessee, where commuters over the weekend were treated to a surprise highway fireworks finale, according to the Chicago Fire Department, the Chattanooga Fire Department. Um, a commercial semi truck caught fire, but it wasn't hauling toilet paper or cheap Amazon returns. No, it was completely packed with consumer grade fireworks. That thing didn't just burn, it basically nuked itself in Technicolor. Rockets were blasting sideways into SUVs, and aerial shells were detonating directly over the median. First responders from Chattanooga Fire Department rolled up, saw the apocalypse happening in neon pink and green, and probably considered just letting the highway burn to the ground, which honestly is officially the most explosive thing to happen in Tennessee since someone suggested adding a vegetable to a Nashville hot chicken combo. Amazingly, nobody died, but 50 local drivers had to explain to their insurance companies why their Honda Civics now look like a gender reveal party gone wrong. So, and I do have video and etc. to share with you.
What is happening? Oh my god! Assuming fireworks, Chuck? I guess so.
Surprise! Nobody's playing the 1812 overture.
This is crazy. Is this the grand finale? God, I hope nobody's hurt. Both lanes of I-75 are completely backed up right now. I'm guessing this truck carrying fireworks caught on fire?
Apparently,
This is nuts. I literally pulled off the side of the road because I heard it before I saw it, and I came across the bridge and I heard, this is absolutely crazy.
somebody's talking on the phone. You can hear it through the window. They're telling somebody else about it.
There's Cameron right there. Roddy, what's up, dude? No way.
I thought that voice sounded familiar.
Dude, this is crazy.
So, okay, what is going on here? Okay. Now, now maybe we can. There we go. I think I have another video. Yeah, right here. And this is the video that was trying to play. It's short little. There we go. And then let's see. No, that's not even relevant. Okay. So use your own personal vehicle and for colorful fireworks displays for the public. Turn it into a family friendly event. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Instead of all the ugliness and debauchery that goes on during Pride Month, it's an excuse to put your perversion on display is what Pride Month is. But next, we go to Australia, a lawless wasteland where every living creature is actively trying to murder you. Wildlife authorities just pulled off a record breaking bug bust. You heard that right, bug bust, raiding an illicit underground breeding operation. They confiscated over 100,000 live cockroaches. 100,000. Imagine dedicating your life to organized crime and your liquid assets can be taken out by a single well placed can of raid. Who the heck is the Pablo Escobar of the insect world? And what does that transaction even look like? Yeah, mate, give me 2 kilos of the German whistlers. Yeah, I have a horrible Australian accent. It sucks. I know. I need to practice. um, Honestly, why even raid the place? In my opinion, just change the property listing to, I don't know, charming rustic studio apartment in Sydney, and charge $3,000 a month for it. pity I do pity the poor underpaid intern who had to count the evidence. 100,000 of them. If even one of those things flies into the cop's face during the mugshot, you have to burn the entire precinct down. It's the law. Yeah, but you see there, that is an example of the cockroaches in question. See, I thought, no, I guess not. Just a picture of the cockroach. I thought I had some video um, for you all, but I guess not. Okay. So, and there you're not even seeing the picture of the cockroach. There you go. There you go. There, now you're seeing the cockroach. Oh yeah, that would make it help you pass the time. If you're in a traffic jam, if you have a fireworks show going on. Uh, I don't know that the article never said. Um, the article never said exactly what they were doing with them. Um, More than 100,000 cockroaches illegal to keep in Australia were confiscated from a single breeder in the country's largest ever seizure of exotic invertebrates, officials said Friday. The haul of Madagascar hissing cockroaches and dubia cockroaches worth 200,000 Australian dollars, which in American is roughly about 140,000, was seized in May from a commercial breeder in the city of Bathurst in New South Wales state, according to Australia's Department of climate change, energy, environment, and water. The Madagascar hissing species is one of the world's biggest cockroaches, measuring 2 to 3 inches. Um, for those of you who like metric, that's 5 to 8 centimeters in length. Photos released by the department showed a shiny brown invertebrate larger than a person's finger. It's much bigger than the country's common Australian cockroach, which measures between zero point 0.9 and 1.4 inches, 2.3 and 3.6 centimeters long. Cockroaches flourish in Australia due to its subtropical climates, and the country is home to hundreds of species. Bathurst snake catcher Stephanie Lesser told the Australian Broadcasting Corporation that the larger exotic species were likely being sold as a cost effective reptile food because their large size meant fewer insects were needed. Officials urge pet owners to seek out crickets or wood roaches to feed their lizards instead. Both Madagascar hissing and dubia cockroaches are illegal to import into Australia. They can't be legally kept, bred, or sold, no matter how they were obtained. The department said in a statement Australia has strict biosecurity controls at its borders to protect its agriculture and horticulture sectors and native wildlife from pest infestations. Those smuggling in undeclared or illegal animal, insect, or plant material can be fined thousands of dollars. Exotic cockroaches, quote, have not been subject to an environmental risk assessment and they could spread disease or harm native wildlife, the statement said. Officials warn of prosecutions against those caught with the invertebrates. A spokesperson said charges weren't laid against the Bathurst breeder. The cockroaches seized would be euthanized, the department said. So that was, their best determination that it was possibly to feed reptiles. Other than that, we really don't know why they were breeding these things. Yeah, Big Tony Speaks is going through some changes, and in a symbolic gesture, my background is dynamite getting ready to blow up Big Tony Speaks. The set, the actual set, the that you're used to, will be completely different when it comes back when I'm not using an AI background, and will hopefully everyone will like it, and hopefully I won't lose too many of my viewers due to the changes. So, and you're seeing some of the changes actually right now with the content that I'm presenting to you. So anyway, let's continue on. Yeah, the cops should have called an exterminator and billed the people who were breeding them. Absolutely, Elf. And speaking of unhinged law enforcement, let's take a look at a South Carolina police station. A cop was just fired after allegedly pulling his actual loaded service weapon on a colleague. His partner didn't steal his wife. He didn't leak state secrets. No, no, no. The guy microwaved fish in the communal break room at the station. And I don't know about you all, but I have experienced that when you're trapped at work and someone decides to use the microwave in the break room to heat up fish, and the stench just fills the entire workplace, and you're at work being held captive and tortured at this point. So now, look, is is microwaving tilapia at work a war crime? Absolutely, in my opinion. Does it violate the Geneva Convention? Yes, absolutely, most certainly. And I'm not saying police brutality is right, but I am saying that jury selection for that trial is going to be impossible because everyone hates an office seafood terrorist. Just imagine your career ending because you couldn't handle a piece of tilapia. That man's criminal record is going to read aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated by a lack of lemon pepper. Yeah, don't microwave seafood at work, you absolute psychopaths. Um, and as you can see on the screen right now, detective was charged with pulling a gun on a fellow officer microwaving fish. I hate these ads, and in order for me to present this article to you, I actually have to deactivate my freaking ad blocker. So just bear with me here. A detective with the Myrtle Beach Police Department in South Carolina was placed on leave and later fired after he allegedly pointed his gun at a colleague who was warming up fish in the break room microwave. They will never get that smell out of that microwave. They'll have to throw it away. Authorities announced June 2nd. I hear you, Elf. Uh, Michael DiBiase, 46, pointed his police issued weapon at a fellow officer who was warming up fish in the department's break room microwave on May 30th, according to an arrest affidavit shared by the South Carolina State Law Enforcement Division. He was subsequently fired and booked into Horry County Detention Center on June 2nd on a felony charge of pointing and presenting a firearm at a person, SLED said in a news release. You and of course my page decides to glitch. So now I have to find my place again. USA Today did not immediately receive a response when it asked SLED on June 3rd whether DiBiase had retained an attorney. Here's what you should know about the case. According to the arrest affidavit, DiBiase confronted a patrolman who was warming up fish in the microwave as it was, quote, causing an odor in the office. The patrolman has not been identified. Probably doesn't want to be. DiBiase drew his department-issued handgun during the confrontation and pointed it at the other officer, the affidavit notes. Both DiBiase and the other officer gave statements about the incident. In a news release, the Myrtle Beach Police Department said that DiBiase was initially placed on administrative leave as an investigation led by the Office of Professional Standards and SLED played out. 3 days later, on June 2nd, DiBiase was arrested and booked into a county detention center. And my page glitched again, of course. What in crap? Quote, our employees are entrusted with significant responsibility, and with that comes an expectation of professionalism, integrity, and sound judgment, and respect for others. The department wrote in its statement, this incident does not reflect the values demonstrated by the men and women of the Myrtle Beach department every day. So, that's right. He wasn't just fired, he was arrested. Because it's a crime to brandish a weapon for no real good reason. If you are not defending your life or someone else's life, you can't just wave a gun around. I hear you, Elf. I hear you, man. I hear you. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, that it's just common courtesy. You don't take fish to an office and microwave it in the break room microwave, because number one, the odor, you're gonna torture everyone in the office, but then you're also never gonna get that scent out of that microwave. And every piece of food that ever gets put in there, even like a cup of coffee that you're warming back up or whatever the case may be, is going to taste like that fish. And that's not always a good thing. So I mean, although, yeah, the officer maybe shouldn't have pulled his gun on the other officer, I can kind of understand the sentiment, but, he did commit a crime, so, he's got to pay for it, just like everyone else. Okay. Um, Meanwhile, theme park safety is apparently just a suggestion now. Social media stuntman Alan Farrell just got hit with a lifetime ban from every single Six Flags park on planet Earth. Why? Why, you ask? Because a fan dared him to eat 10 chicken nuggets while riding a high speed roller coaster, and he actually tried it. Well, he did it. Um, but I mean, this is what happens when your entire personality is a cry for attention and a desperate need for a high fiber diet. There is viral video of this idiot choking on processed poultry at 70 miles an hour while going through a vertical loop. I, however, have video of his response to the ban and etc. Um, but getting hit in the face by flying half chewed honey mustard chicken at 70 miles an hour isn't a theme park ride. It's a biological hazard that deserves a lawsuit, not a TikTok follow. Six Flags banned him for a quote safety violation, but they should have banned him for inflicting structural brain damage on the internet. And here is that response video. I held it to the end of that story so that he could respond.
I've been getting thousands of messages over the past few days, and people want me to address what happened. About a week ago, I decided to eat chicken nuggets on the Millennium Force. I did not expect this to make national news.
Okay, so that is YouTuber Alan Farrell doing exactly what he said he would do.
Oh, look at the sauce.
Eats a 10-piece chicken nuggets while riding Millennium Force. And yes, as you saw, he did dunk them in sweet and sour sauce that went everywhere.
And the absolute worst part about this, I was banned from every Six Flags location in the world forever. I cannot go to any of these ever again. Since then, I've spent a lot of time reflecting, thinking, growing, healing. I do understand why Cedar Point made the decision that they made. They don't want a bunch of random people trying to complete challenges that only professionals are capable of completing. So to Cedar Point and Six Flags, I'm sorry. To my future family that will never get to go on a Six Flags family vacation, I'm sorry. To the chicken nugget community, I'm sorry. If a week ago you would have told me that a 10-piece nugget would have made national news and a lifetime ban, I would have looked you dead in the face and said, "What is wrong with you?" I've been getting thousands of messages over the past few days.
So, I'm gonna say he doesn't really have any remorse. And Elf, part of that time that I was away from the show, I was having health issues. The other part, I've been working on the changes with Big Tony Speaks. Um, See, I've been for quite a long time, and I have actually done live streams stating as such that I've been for quite a long time experiencing burnout with the whole political scene. It's just too much negativity, and it's starting to filter into my personal life, and that can't happen. I can't have a situation where um, what I do on here filters through into my personal life. So, I had to make some changes, and well, that's what we're doing now. So I am back, and as long as my health is good, I will be here every day and presenting a lot of stuff, a lot like what you're experiencing now, and there will be the odd here and there political episode or whatever, or maybe during a an episode there'll be a political story here or there, because you can't escape it, but I'm trying to veer away from the politics because there's too much negativity surrounding it, very little actual positivity, and I'm trying to be more positive if I can, and not have all that negativity because it affects your health, it affects your mind, and it bleeds into your personal life. And yeah, I'm not with that. So I hope you all understand, and I hope you all will stick with me and help this channel grow and become something big. Um, if not, I understand, whatever. Um, I don't do this for the money or anything like that. I do it because I like to do it. So, and I thought that, the whole political thing would be a good fit for me, but apparently it wasn't, you know, um, because it's just too much negativity. Um, it doesn't mean I don't have political opinions and whatnot. I do. Everyone does. But you know, um, I'm not going to do that kind of show. It's just too much negativity, as I said. So moving forward, we will be as positive as we can be. I'm trying to give you all a good break from all the negativity, all the BS, all the politics, because politics, as I said, has permeated every part of our lives. And that's why I actually remain involved with Panic and Rehab, is because it also is a break from all the BS, all the politics, etc. You know, so don't forget to watch me on Panic and Rehab. I will continue on there as long as they want me to. And I will continue to do this show as long as I have people watching. So, on with the show, you all. So, let's check in on New York City, where the local economy is so bad that people are literally diving into human excrement to pay the rent. Yeah, police are hunting for groups of urban explorers entering the sewer through street manholes in the middle of the night. Um, Investigators think that they're hunting for valuable jewelry that accidentally got washed down household drains or flushed down the toilet or what have you, or maybe dropped while out on the street and went down a sewer grating or what have you. Um, no, haven't had any interaction with the Southern Poverty Law Center, and they wouldn't like it if they did contact me. Absolutely not. They would not like it. So, but as I said, investigators think they're hunting for valuable jewelry that went down the drains or went down the toilet or maybe got dropped on the street and went into a sewer grating or drain. And I say if your financial backup plan involves swimming through corporate sludge and mutant rat feces for a Pandora charm, you don't need a metal detector. You need a financial planner and a heavy duty shower. Oh my God. They're hunting for wedding rings and things of that nature in the sewer. The sewer, y'all. Because nothing says eternal love quite like a ring that spent 3 weeks marinating in the collective waste of the Upper East Side. Oh my Lord. If that is your retirement strategy, just start robbing banks. It's safer. I mean, for real, y'all. For real, for real. Okay, yet another one that I could have sworn that I had some video to show you all, but apparently I don't. I just have a photograph. The title literally says videos of showing groups of people entering New York City sewers at night baffle residents and investigators. Um, a series of bizarre sightings of people popping in and out of New York's vast subterranean sewer system in recent days has the whole city wondering what exactly is going on. And this is an image from a surveillance video uh, provided by an auto care center. One of three people descends into a sewer on a street in New York on May 5th. Right here. You can see the person right there in the middle descending into the sewer, into the manhole. Um, so these people are kind of decked out with well, I do appreciate your jokes, Elf. I am glad to see you whenever you come into my chat because you do make me laugh, and I appreciate that. So, oh, But yeah, from the AP, mole people, crocodile catchers, Mario Brothers, a series of bizarre sightings of people popping in and out of New York City's vast subterranean sewer system has the city wondering what exactly is going on, with police now probing the underground mystery. Security cameras have recorded at least three nighttime instances where groups of people entered or exited sewer tunnels via maintenance holes on streets in Brooklyn and Queens. In one video taken early Friday morning in the Williamsburg section of Brooklyn, a group of roughly seven people were recorded popping out of a maintenance hole in the middle of an intersection in full view of passing cars. Some wore headlamps and carried what appeared to be shovels and other tools. One narrowly missed getting run over by a vehicle as they pulled themselves out of the ground. In another video, a group of about seven people could be seen emerging from a maintenance hole around 2 a.m. on a quiet street in Brooklyn's Gravesend neighborhood. They made their way to a couple of parked cars and pulled out fresh clothes to change. Police say the group entered the sewers about 11 p.m., meaning they could have been underground for 3 hours. Um, on May 5th, three people dressed in waterproof hip waders and other protective gear pried open a maintenance hole cover and descended into the sewer on a street in Queens. The last person pulled the cover shut as approaching cars slowed to a stop. Aki Jakupovich, the owner of an auto detailing shop, said his shop's surveillance cameras recorded that group of sewer spelunkers. He said he couldn't venture a guess as to what the people did below ground, but worried they were, quote, up to no good. The City Department of Environmental Protection said it inspected the sewers at both Brooklyn locations and verified the sewer infrastructure wasn't damaged. The incident in Queens is still under investigation, the agency said. Rob Walesia, the department's spokesperson, stressed that entering the sewers is not only illegal, but, quote, extremely dangerous. Quote, sewers can contain numerous hazards, including noxious and potentially deadly gases, unstable surfaces, flooding risks, and confined spaces, Walesia said in a statement. Quote, for these reasons, members of the public should never enter a pipe, drain, catch basin, manhole, or outfall. Last month, a woman fell into an open maintenance hole on a busy street in Midtown Manhattan and died. Utility officials said the hole cover had been dislodged by a truck. Police, meanwhile, said they don't believe there's any threat to public safety after conducting a thorough sweep of the areas. There have been no reports of injuries and no arrests, and the investigation is ongoing, the department said. On Tuesday, at the busy intersection in Williamsburg, where the second group was spotted, resident Anthony Purdy said he isn't convinced it was simple curiosity that drew the group to explore the sewers in the cover of night. Quote, they looked like they were looking for something important, like money or for doing some type of hurting, he said. Quote, ain't no fun in games. I mean, seven grown adults going down there. Got to be something, man. That's right. There has got to be something. And as I said earlier, they think that they are going down there and searching for lost jewelry and etc. Well, good, good. I am glad that you came, Based Rigga. Um, the show is actually going through some changes, but I hope you hang in there with us and hope you enjoy the show. That is The whole point, it is all about you all. Without you all, I can't have a show. So, yeah, hang out and chat in the chat. I do read those comments y'all make in the chat. I also read comments when people watch on replay and they leave a comment on there. I read all of those comments as well. So and reply to them. So yeah, hang out with us. Hit that follow button and turn on the notifications so you get notification when I come on. But on with the show. Over in Bangladesh, a zoo has a brand new viral attraction, a rare albino buffalo calf. Now, because the animal has a highly aggressive, swooping tuft of bright blonde hair right on top of its head, the zoo staff has named it Donald Trump. Thousands of people are showing up to take photos with Donald Trump, the buffalo calf. The zoo says that crowds are flocking to see it. So there is the buffalo calf in question. And I saw in another picture they had the hair kind of combed to sort of look like Donald Trump. But this is the hairstyle and the albino calf in question right there. In Dhaka, with his shock of golden hair and trim 700 kilogram, 1,500 pounds, by the way, build, Donald Trump has been drawing crowds from across Bangladesh since he arrived at the National Zoo last week. The rare albino buffalo became a sensation when a farmer noticed that his blonde tuft of hair resembled the distinctive looks of the U.S. president. After a video of the pale horned mammal went viral on social media, a large number of people started showing up at the farm outside Dhaka to see him for themselves. The animal was originally meant to be slaughtered for the Muslim festival of sacrifice, but citing security concerns, the government ordered him transferred to the zoo in the capital, where large crowds are now braving sweltering heat to see him. On Tuesday, visitors pressed against the fence of the buffalo's enclosure, filming with their phones as some fathers hoisted small children on their shoulders for a better view. A zoo worker pampered the animal, brushing his hair to one side and hosing him down with water to keep him cool as fans blew on him. There is a resemblance to Donald Trump in its eyes, hairstyle, and skin color, said Mohammed Nassim, a student in Dhaka. And just as Donald Trump has a distinctive personality and lifestyle, this buffalo, after going viral, is now living a similar kind of life, enjoying a lot of attention and special treatment. Local media reported that the exhibit initially included a sign that said Donald Trump, which has since been removed, probably stolen. The zoo curator was fired Saturday, though no official cause was given for the dismissal. Some clearly found the naming in poor taste. Giving a farm animal the name of one of the world's most influential leaders was certainly the wrong thing to do, said Dhaka resident Mohammed Joinal Adidin. who visited the zoo to see the buffalo anyway. It seems disrespectful. I think the farmer who did this made a poor decision. The buffalo was sold ahead of Eid al Adha, the Feast of Sacrifice, when Home Minister Salahuddin Ahmed ordered police to take the animal into custody. The authorities refunded the buyer. Since before Eid, I had been seeing posts on Facebook saying that Donald Trump would be sacrificed. Later, I heard that instead of being sacrificed, it had been placed in a zoo, said Mohammed Habibur Rahman, a visitor to the zoo from the southwestern Bangladeshi city of Jashore. So I thought I would come to the zoo and see Donald Trump for myself, he said. So finally, we end up in England, where the government proved that public infrastructure and literacy do not mix. Highway crews on the M5 motorway just spent thousands of pounds installing a massive road sign to direct drivers to the historic city of Worcester. Except they spelled it Worcester, Worcester. Now, Worcester is spelled Worcester. One letter difference. Of course, English town names are already gaslighting the entire planet. Leicester is spelled Leicester. Worcester is spelled Worcester. They spent thousands of pounds to add CH to a word that nobody under the age of 80 can pronounce correctly. Anyway, Americans are still having problems with Worcestershire. So this sign is proof that the British Empire didn't fall because of politics. It fell because they let the guy who writes internet comments design their highway infrastructure. It's sadistic, it's petty, and honestly, I say keep the sign up. It builds character. And there is the sign, or a part of it. For legal reasons, they had to Photoshop out most of the sign there. But you see the what is supposed to be Worcester, Worcester, not CH. So the article goes on to say an M5 motorway sign misspelling the name of Worcestershire City has left motorists bemused. The road sign was first spotted by Sarah Ellis from Malvern last week, who asked, quote, just how wrong can you get it? Oh, I'm sure they could get it very, very wrong. Rather than the correct spelling of Worcester, the road sign reads Worcester, which Ellis says was so funny. A National Highways spokesperson said, quote, as soon as the error was brought to our attention, we halted the installation of the sign and are working with our contractors to correct the spelling as soon as possible. Um, Discussing the moment she spotted the spelling gaffe, Ellis said, quote, "It was dark and I saw the sign in my headlights and I thought, well, that can't be right. But I obviously didn't have time to stop and look at it. I just registered it and thought I'd have to look next time I go by. The next time I went by, it was daylight, and there it was, Worcester. The fact the sign was incomplete made me wonder what was going on." Ellis added, quote, "They've obviously put the sign up and somebody said, quote, that's not right. Quote, it's just so funny because people struggle to say Worcester and Worcestershire, and there it is for everyone to see. Just how wrong can you get it?" Okay, that is way off base from the subject matter of this show. And I thank you for the compliment that it seems pretty cool. But that is way off base from the subject of this show. I do have strong opinions regarding Muslims taking over America. I am opposed to it. However, this is no longer a political show, and it is an actual escape from political. So let's try to not have those discussions. Well, and speaking of such, that is our daily dose of global idiocy. If you like hearing about weaponized break room fish and highway firework apocalypses, smash that follow or subscribe button, whatever you see on your screen, because I am streaming to multiple different platforms and there may be something different on your screen. So hit that follow or subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you know when I come on. I don't have one. This show used to be political. It used to be a political show. Okay. It's no longer a political show. So, I know it's a sudden change and all that, and people have a hard time understanding that, and I'm not belittling anyone. People do seem to have a hard time understanding when someone decides to make a change. And I explained my reasons earlier. I think you possibly missed it. Um, but I explained my reasons, and I've explained my reasons more than once. Um, so, you know, just to understand that, yes, this used to be a political show. It's no longer a political show. Now, I'm not saying that occasionally I might not talk about something political, because you can't escape politics altogether 100%, because it has permeated our entire lives, every single facet of our lives, which it should not have. You know, it should not have gotten to that point where it is literally permeated every aspect of our lives. But it has. So the direction that this show is now going, the direction that this show is now going, it's a place to give you all a break from all of that, from all that negativity, from all that BS, from all the division, the all the various different uh, um, um, factions and viewpoints and whatnot. Give give it a break from all the politics, all the BS, all the racism, all the the wokeism, all the everything. Just you know, and at the same time, I talk about some things that guaranteed you didn't even know happened in the world because most people are concerned with the political. I mean, yes, most people do need dwarf. Most people do need a break from all the divisive rhetoric and BS, and that's what I'm here for. This is the direction that I've decided to take Big Tony Speaks in. And I'm hoping that everybody, continues to appreciate Big Tony Speaks for what it is and stick with me. And I'm hoping to gain new followers and make this show um, a force to be reckoned with on the internet. You know, dwarf assistance and elf support. Hey, the two of you should team up, man. All right, now y'all don't fight. But I mean, my main advice, is besides hitting that follow or subscribe button, is stay out of the sewers, eat your chicken nuggets on solid ground, and don't look the blonde buffalo in the eye. Really? There we go. Yeah, y'all don't fight, Yes, you have very similar names, but hey, they say great minds think alike. So, you know, both of you should be honored that each of you thought kind of the same way. Account created today. Wow. Yeah, it's a pretty big internet, y'all. It is a pretty big internet. I think there is plenty of room for the both of you. Hey, I don't smoke. I don't really have much of a reason to light a match, except maybe if I let a big fart, I might need to, But hopefully that won't happen. All this dynamite and high explosives behind me. I mean, I did have a different thumbnail than the one you all saw. I'm gonna show it to y'all. Hang on, give me just a second. I'm gonna show y'all that thumbnail that I actually had for this episode. Um, and it actually really had very little to do with any of my subject matter. It actually had to do with the changes that I'm making to Big Tony Speaks. Let me see, where is it? Okay, let me see. There you go. Yeah, that was the thumbnail that I did have, and then I decided to make it, more lean towards the content that I was going to be presenting for y'all today. So Yeah, I don't have any intentions of lighting any matches. As I said, I don't smoke. I vape, and there aren't any sparks involved with that. But yeah, when I finally get everything back here behind me the way I want it, I'll stop using the AI backgrounds, and you'll see the actual set. You know, it did previously. If I have, well, it did look like that. That thumbnail I just showed you. You see the flags in the background and etc. Like as I said, this used to be a political channel. And of course, I'm still wearing my "Make Asylums Great Again" hat. I still stand by that statement, because there's a reason behind that. Awesome. I'll take all the likes I can get, and all the follows as well. So, but yeah, I mean, and that's another thing. I do, I like to have a conversation with my chat. You know, I read all those comments that you all make and everything. And as you've seen, I do reply to them. I do comment about them. You know, so it's that's part of what makes Big Tony Speaks. In my opinion, it's the whole reason behind Big Tony Speaks is to have a conversation, um and we're now going in the new direction, of giving everyone a break from all the political BS, and the divisive rhetoric, and the racism, and the various different sentiments that are being expressed on both sides. You know, nobody left, right, center, bottom, top, whatever. Nobody is not guilty. Of all the BS rhetoric, and negativity, and etc. Um, I have my opinions, but uh, and I think I have, in my past episodes when this was a political show. I think I've expressed those opinions pretty well. So if anybody is curious, you can investigate my past episodes, and you know or just ask somebody like Elf, or one of my OGs that has been around here for quite a while. Well, thank you. You know, I am glad that that it does sound good to you all. I mean, right? And that's exactly what I'm trying to do, is bring a light and comedic escape from all of this crap. I needed it because I was really getting burned out. I did several live streams where I that was literally what I was talking about. I was getting burned out. It was either it got to the point where either I was going to take this show in a different direction, or I was going to quit. Period, altogether. Because when it starts bleeding over into my personal life, yeah, it's gone too far, and I can't have that. So I decided to take this channel into a different direction, and I hope that you all like the direction that it goes, and I'm going to try to keep it as light and as funny as I can, and try to keep y'all on your toes with the stuff that I find, and present to you all too as well. And as I said, remember that I am a regular guest on Panic and Rehab on YouTube and Rumble, um, Monday through Friday at what is it, 8 a.m. So if you want to catch me there, I am there as well. Oh, I just noticed that Slim Chick was in the chat over on YouTube. I am sorry, Slim Chick. I am literally faced with four screens and a chat over here, and I totally messed up and was not keeping an eye on the YouTube chat. So, but Slim Chick is actually right now the only one in the chat over there. So, but yeah, I am hoping to take this somewhere and make it a big thing. And you know, there are not really a whole lot that I have seen of people that are doing what I've chosen to do with this channel is, as far as you know creating a space where you get a break from all the BS, you know. So hopefully that it'll catch on and I'll gain a lot of followers and gain some traction, and maybe sometime in the future, um, maybe it'll get back to where politics doesn't permeate every facet of our lives. We can have normal lives or somewhat normal. It'll probably never get back to the way it was before, politics took over everything. You know, it'll probably never will um, be totally 100% that way again. But I want to try to get it as close as I can. Hopefully this idea will catch on and grow and grow and grow, and maybe one day we can get back to that. Maybe we can have some sense of normalcy. I know you all remember. It's not that long ago. So what say you all? Do I have your support? Are we moving forward and making something out of this new direction that we're taking Big Tony Speaks into? Sound good to y'all? Got one vote. Y'all come on and jump in here and let me know what you all think. I got one vote, and I'm sure that Elf will hang in there with me. Um, and there are a few of my OGs that I'm sure will hang in there. Marilyn in the chat, that's my wife, so of course she's sticking with me. So, but there are a few others that I'm sure will probably hang with me. But everyone else, I really sincerely hope that you all will stick with me and help me grow this channel and make something out of it. Yeah. So
Get in the chat now! The country is depending on it!
Little Big Tony says the country depends on you all getting in the chat. So just come on, jump in that chat. Yeah. And I'm gonna work on creating more little animations and things like that. And be ready for I am currently working on a new intro video. Like the one you saw at the beginning of the show. I'm working on creating a new one. Hopefully it'll it's still going to be the same theme song, because I think that theme song still applies, but the video itself, hopefully, my goal is for it to be a little bit funny and a little weird and out there a little bit, maybe, and hopefully it'll be good, really, truthfully, honestly. I mean, truthfully, I personally, my opinion is that one that you all saw at the beginning of the show is not good. I slapped that one together in like 30 minutes, and, it was just, I needed an intro, and I slapped it together real quick. But I'm taking a little bit more time with the new one, and hopefully it'll be good. But I'm also going to be working on some more little animations and things, different things for the show. And my intention is to give y'all a good full show of interesting, strange, unusual things that you wouldn't know even happened in the world because of all the politics taking over everything. Watch the news. How much of the real world do they even talk about besides the politics? Very, very little. But there's a lot of news out there. A lot of things are going on in the world that nobody even knows happens. Because they're too obsessed with transgenderism and the left and the right, and all the Jews, and the Muslims, and the this and the that and the everything. Yeah, there are concerns that we have, but that can't be our entire identity. It can't be our entire life. Can't I mean, you know having those things dictate who we are is how we go down the road of dystopianism, down the road of apocalypse, and ending up with being Mad Max, or worse. There are worse situations that we could end up in. So I mean, so I'm doing my part to try to alleviate that, and I am banking on the thought, the idea, the hope that you all will stick with me and help me grow this channel, and support me in my work of alleviating some of that tension and hate and negativity and bias and all of that, you know because it doesn't have to control and run our entire lives. It doesn't have to dictate everything about us, everything about our lives, and etc. we can have our opinions, we can have our beliefs, and still go on with our lives and interact and be normal. So with that being said, um, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this an episode. I have to work on my scooter. My means of transportation is a commuter style electric scooter. It I have to work on it. It has some issues, and I have to actually work on it here fairly quickly, fairly soon, because it's not too much longer before I have to go and pick up Marilyn from her work. She's at work today, and so I have to go pick her up from her work. And without my scooter, I can't do that. So yeah, I've got to go work on that and get it going. And I will see you all tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, right here on Big Tony Speaks at 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, Eastern Standard Time. By the way, y'all hit that thumbs up, and if you're not already following the channel, please do hit that follow or subscribe button, whatever you see on your screen, and turn on those notifications so you know when I am on, and come back and see me. And when you do, remember, Big Tony will speak on it. Now a much more lighter version. And I thank you all so much for coming and hanging with me. You could have gone to any podcast on the internet, but you came and hung out with me on this one. And I thank you so much. Yes, I will see you next time, Dwarf, Elf, everyone else who is watching but hasn't jumped into the chat. You all have a great one. And this has been Big Tony Speaks. I've been Big Tony, your host, and I am out of here. Y'all take it easy. Peace out.